Welcome back, True Seeker. Just as a heads up before we get into this, I have pinned a link in the live chats if you'd like to join the stream. Again, if you have additional information to share that's relevant to the discussion, you're welcome to join and might even take some calls. But every year we talk about the rigged Super Bowl and we talk about the very obvious ritual sacrifices that come with it. And if you're new here, we talk about the number 41 every year with the Super Bowl. We call it the Super Bowl number. It's not an accident that Patrick Mahomes got his 41st road win of his career yesterday in Baltimore, which is 41 town, to advance to the Super Bowl. In the same way, it's not an accident that there's a dead football star from Panama at the age of 41. And it's not an accident that his team wore red, just like the 49ers and Chiefs, which will meet in the Super Bowl, wear red. And by the way, Mahomes also became 4-1 versus Baltimore yesterday, and Brock Purdy became 4-1 in the playoffs, a lot like 41. And the reason these numbers are relevant is because in Gematria, Super Bowl equals 41. But think about it. For the second time ever, it's going to be an all-red Super Bowl. And in Gematria, red equals 54. The first time it happened was Super Bowl 54. Now it's Super Bowl 58, which is the 54th Super Bowl of the modern era. And again, it's the Joe Montana Bowl Part 2. Joe Montana played for the 49ers and Chiefs, two teams that wear red. And this man who's dead, not only dead at 41, not only is he a football player, what do they call this man? The Matador. What do matadors do? They fight bulls. And what color's that sheet that they use to provoke the bull? They hold up the red sheet, right? The red sheet to provoke the bull. What are these sports games really about? What are they really about? I mean, they're about distracting people. It's the bread and circus. But it really does seem that they're about provoking the fans. I mean, how do the Baltimore fans feel? You know, if you're a neutral party watching that game yesterday between Baltimore and Kansas City, your eyes aren't deceiving you. It's just a horribly biased game by the officials. All these chintzy fouls in favor of Kansas City. Kansas City getting away with holding and pass interference all game. The only penalties they got called against them were offensive holding, and they were brutal offensive holding. They probably would have let them go if they weren't so brutal. But you know, I mean, and it looked a lot like the Texans-Browns game in the opening round of the wild card. You know, it was just like a guy got full-on tackled before the ball even got there, and it was a game-changing play and no call. It's like, no call, really? That's not pass interference, huh? But yeah, I mean, it's just, how don't people catch on? How don't people catch on to this? The day the Super Bowl is set, the second all-red Super Bowl, the Matador is dead at 41. And again, let's just go through all of this, how big the ritual is, how rigged the game is, how we landed another future preseason. Both teams correct. Yeah, we did cover a few different squares, but we had the Super Bowl 54 rematch from before the season began, knowing the numbers. But remember, let's go back. If you're new here, in Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. When you run the alphabetic order forwards, the color red, the word, has a Gematria value of 27. And the first all-red Super Bowl was Super Bowl 54, and the NFC and the AFC became tied at 27 Super Bowls apiece. If you take the alphabetic order in numerology, red is 18. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, just making Z1 back to A is 26, red is 54. So this is Super Bowl 58, which is the 54th Super Bowl of the modern era. Super Bowl 54 was the 50th of the modern era. And recall, the Chiefs, which equals 50, beat San Francisco, which equals 50, and the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl in 50 years. Super Bowl 54 was the Joe Montana Bowl. Once again, it's the Joe Montana Bowl. And again, Joe Montana is 67 years old right now. He finished his career with Kansas City. Here, let me just pull up Joe Montana date of birth so you can see. Joe Montana, 67 years old. Kansas City, 67. 67 is the 19th prime number. Joe Montana, Chiefs jersey. He wore 16 with the Niners. He won Super Bowl 16 with the 49ers. He never won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. But Montana wore 19 with the Chiefs. Super Bowl 54 was the 2019-2020 season. We were talking about then before the game how all of the images they were putting out was Joe Montana joke that his team was going to win the Super Bowl. But in every single image that the mainstream put out that year, he was he was wearing a Chiefs scarf or a Chiefs jersey or a Chiefs shirt. They were just telling you, it was like blatant slap in the face. Every picture they put out with Montana that year, he was in Chiefs gear. So anyhow, with regards to 19, it's been 19 years since a quarterback won back-to-back. Okay? 19 years since a quarterback won back-to-back Super Bowls. Of course, Tom Brady did it, who grew up idolizing Joe Montana. Grew up in the Bay Area. And just to go to the Super Bowl history, Joe Montana, again, won back-to-back Super Bowls 23 and 24. So let's go back to Super Bowls 23 and 24. 23, San Francisco beat the Bengals. Super Bowl 24, San Francisco beat the Broncos. This year is the 23-24 season, right? The 23-24 season. And, Montana, let's go back here. He won Super Bowl 16 in his 16 jersey over the Bengals. He won Super Bowl 19 before he went on to wear the number 19 over the Dolphins. And Brock Purdy says he idolizes Dan Marino. Dan Marino was on that Dolphins team that lost to Montana. And so that means he won his first Super Bowl against 16 over the Bengals. And he won his third Super Bowl, Joe Montana, over the Bengals. Okay? Now remember, after Super Bowl 54, Joe Burrow had just won the championship with LSU over Clemson in New Orleans, right? New Orleans, 54, okay? Joe Burrow won the national championship January 13th, 2020. LSU over Clemson in New Orleans, which equals 54, on 54 date numerology. And then he got drafted by the Bengals, right? So you had this Joe Montana. See how Joe Montana is 54 in the same cipher as New Orleans? Again, the four ciphers are alphabetic order, forwards and backwards with numerology. But then Joe Cool gets drafted in the NFL right after the Joe Montana Bowl, and he goes to the Bengals. And then remember, he led the Bengals to their Super Bowl that they lost to the Rams. Remember, they lost to the Rams in the blue and cold with Sean McVay and the Ukrainian fiancé just days before the war began in Ukraine with the same colors. The Ram, the god of war, against all this scripted crap. But Joe Burrow goes to the Bengals, who Montana beat 2 times. Now, Patrick Mahomes only lost 2 QBs in the playoffs. He's lost to Tom Brady, and he's lost to Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow follows the legacy of Joe Montana like Tom Brady does. See how they got all these little storylines? But let's not forget that Joe Burrow, with regards to death and rituals, Joe Burrow transferred to LSU the exact same day that Billy Cannon died. And Billy Cannon died on the anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola, the creator of the Jesuit order, getting shot with a cannonball. And that's May 20th, just like how this year, May 20th, 2024, Donald Trump, the Jesuit's going to be in the courtroom with Judge Eileen Cannon on the anniversary of the cannonball ritual. But if for people don't know this, Joe Burrow transferred from Ohio State to LSU the same day that Billy Cannon died. And it matters because Billy Cannon was the only LSU player before Joe Burrow to win the Heisman. And then Billy Cannon also beat Clemson in the championship in New Orleans. So Joe Burrow went on to do the exact same things Billy Cannon did. Recall, I was down in New Orleans and Baton Rouge at the time of Super Bowl 54, and we were educating about this ritual with Billy Cannon and Joe Burrow. And we opened up a lot of eyes. And we actually had players from that LSU football team on campus come up and talk to us. We had some who ignored us and wanted nothing to do with us, and we had other ones who came up and talked to us and were very intrigued. And that just reminded me how some of these guys seem like they're in the club and others don't. But anyway, the Jesuits run the show, right? And the Jesuits serve the Catholic Church. All this is connected through Joe Montana, who went to Jesuit Notre Dame. And, of course, Tom Brady, good Catholic as well. And I'm actually not sure about Patrick Mahomes, but I wouldn't be surprised if, if he's one of them as well. I'll have to look into that. But, yeah, again, just think about it. Just think about all these little narratives. Then you just throw the numbers on top of it. And, again, you see how Super Bowl is 41? Super Bowl 41, again, Mahomes got his 41st road win of his career in Baltimore, which equals 41. See how Baltimore's 58 in reverse, just like how Baltimore fell to 5-8 versus the Chiefs as Andy Reid stayed on 58 losses with the Chiefs. Andy Reid born in 58, owner of the Chiefs, Clark Hunt, 58. But Mahomes' 41st road win to get to the Super Bowl in Baltimore, becoming 4-1 versus the team as Brock Purdy becomes 4-1 in the playoffs. And then the all-red Super Bowl again. And the Matador is dead at 41 the day of the games. Now, I was looking into this guy's career, and I see he also played for the AFC Champions League, which reminds us that Mahomes plays in the AFC, right? And, they're emphasizing Matador. Let's see what's up with Matador real quick. Oh, well, what do you know? Matador equals, okay, it equals 27 like red, right? But it also equals 72. Let's take another peek at that Jesuit order thing. Jesuit order 72. So, okay. They're just telling us who did it. That's all they're doing there. It's another whodunit. With regards to Panama and the 49ers being a piece of this, Panama's 46. The 49ers were established in 1946. They also play in Levi's Stadium, which is 46. When they hosted Super Bowl 50, remember San Francisco's 50, the team that was once 5-0 in Super Bowls back in the Joe Montana, Steve Young era. Super Bowl 50 was the 46th Super Bowl in the modern era. And if you watch that Super Bowl, another one we nailed from the beginning of the season, both teams. And we only picked one Super Bowl matchup that year, and it was dead on. Why the Broncos would beat the Panthers. But there were a lot of, if you go back and watch my work on that, there was a lot of 46 and 199 in that Super Bowl, and 199 is the 46th prime. But yeah, again, this is what I continue to teach and talk about. Oh, and one more thing, the sponsor for this. Earlier, I speculated that maybe it was a banana Mexico company. It's not. It's actually a big bank in Mexico that's connected to Citigroup. So it's pretty much Citigroup of Mexico, this Banamex, the sponsor for his team. Look at how Banamex is 24, you guys. Again, it's 2024. Missouri's the 24th state. It's all synced up with Joe Montana again. Montana's 24. And let's not forget, Montana, the state, is the 41st state. Remember what was going on last year at the time of Super Bowl 57? Andy Reid got his 269th win in that game, the 57th prime. But there was that story, the Chinese spy balloon spotted in Montana, the 41st state. And then the media all of a sudden went from like, oh, now it's spotted over Kansas City. And we're like, okay, you guys, from the 41st state, the Super Bowl number, Joe Montana. And now, because go back and look how they covered it. It went somehow the balloon went from Montana to Kansas City. They didn't cover any of the coverage in the states in between. The coverage went from Montana to Kansas City. We're like, okay, people still can't figure out what's going on here. Spy balloon 41, spotted over the 41st state. And the original football god before there was Brady, before there was Mahomes, it was Joe Montana. So. And didn't his man who had the catch, didn't he die in Montana now that I think about it? R.I.P. to Dwight Clark. Let's go back and take a peek at Dwight Clark. Where'd he pass? Dwight Clark, the catch. Yeah, Whitefish, Montana. He just happened to die there. He just happened to die on June 4th, the day in history that the 49ers franchise was founded. You guys know that? The 49ers franchise, look at this. 49ers establishment, June 4th. The 49ers were established June 4th, 1944. Their first NFL season was in 46. So Dwight Clark, with one of the most infamous moments in 49ers history, dies on June 4th. And again, this year you had Norma Hunt of the Kansas City Chiefs die on June 4th. Kansas City Chiefs equals 64. Again, yesterday at halftime, I was making fun of the box score. Lamar Jackson had 64 net passing yards, and Mahomes was averaging 6.4 yards per pass attempt. But it's the Chiefs' 64th season this year as well, to go with that Kansas City Chiefs 64. And, Harbaugh stayed on 172 wins yesterday. And where can you guys verify all these stats? Just take yourself over to Football Reference. John Harbaugh, let's check his career wins. John Harbaugh, he's got 160 wins in the regular season, and he's got 12 more in the playoffs for a total of 172. Last year, it was Len Dawson dead 172 days before the Super Bowl that the Chiefs won on Kobe Bryant Day, and Kobe's connected to Philly, and that was your Super Bowl. And here, let's go to Andy Reid real quick. Andy Reid going to the Super Bowl on 58 losses with the Chiefs, born in 1958, lost his son on the 5th day of the 8th month. In his NFL playing days, they're saying he might retire if he wins this one. Go visit his son's grave. Wish you would have been here for it, son. Had to sacrifice you to join the Tony Dungy Club. But 51 losses in the regular season with the Chiefs, 7 in the postseason. That puts him at 58. And again, Clark Hunt, that's the owner of the Chiefs right now here. He was out there hosting the Lamar Hunt Trophy yesterday, his family member's trophy without Norma Hunt because she's dead. And I noticed when Travis, it was either Mahomes or Travis Kelce, one of them gave a shout out to Norma Hunt. But Clark Hunt, date of birth, there he is, 58 years old, just like I was 57 last year. You know, something that's awesome is the state of Missouri is 202 years old right now. And Andy Reid's going to coach his 202nd game with the Chiefs facing San Francisco. Remember when Tony Bennett died? We talked about that the day Tony Bennett died. He was one of our signs that, it could be the Niners' year. Tony Bennett died on the 202nd day of the year. That's my birthday for the record. And again, you run it forward. San Francisco's 122. Brock Purdy became 12-2 at home in the playoffs. San Francisco's on the 122nd meridian. Kansas City's also 122. National Football League is 122. When we're talking about ritual sacrifice, it reminds us that the Church of Satan was founded in San Francisco, and Satanic's 122. So somebody told me today there's a rumor that's viral online, I guess. Depends on what forum or website you're on, but there's a rumor that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift had an abortion, which is 122, like Roe versus Wade was on January 22nd, 122. And I want to say in history, the decision was 122 days from Roe's birthday. I have to go back and double check. It's something like that. But yeah, you just learn these numbers and you see how the whole game's rigged, what they're doing at the federal level, what they're doing with the rigged football. And by the way, for people who don't understand how the NFL might as well be the fourth branch of the U.S. government, it's the bread and circus branch. The NFL's birthday is September 17th, which is Patrick Mahomes' birthday, but that's also the U.S. Constitution's birthday. And you see how football's 133? Yesterday was 133 days after Mahomes' birthday. He came into the game 13-3 in the playoffs. You see how government is also 133? Like White House is 133, like President's 133. Again, from the Constitution's birthday to the NFL's birthday, 133 years later. It's not an accident, you guys. It's not an accident. People like Mahomes, born and raised for this. His dad was a pro athlete, played baseball. Did Mahomes' father. Baseball's 54. Like Mahomes winning his first Super Bowl in Super Bowl 54. Now 54 Super Bowl of the modern era this year. Yesterday it seemed like half of his snaps were ground balls. He was like getting infield practice back there. I was just watching that and thinking about the same thing. I was like, God, is this part of the script to keep giving him these bad snaps through the grass like he's fielding it like an infielder? And then like midway through the game, then Tony Romo finally said it. He's like, he's back there fielding these balls like a baseball player. I was like, I really think this is part of the joke. Throwing Mahomes bad snaps all game. Because literally, like you play baseball, you get down like that, you field the ball. I mean, and by the way, you guys see how baseball's 162? Like there's 162 games in a Major League Baseball season, 54 outs in a whole game, 18 half innings. Give me Major League Baseball. It's 162 forwards. It's 351 in reverse, the 26th triangular number. And of course, game is 26, like ball game's 26. Come back to Major League Baseball, 63. The June 3rd is the 154th day of the year. Well, every year on June 3rd, there's Grand Slams. Grand Slams 154, so is Doubleday. Abner Doubleday is the Freemason that American baseball is credited to. Go back to Major League Baseball with the 117. We use that number to call the World Series Game 1, why the Rangers had a great odds, even though they were 50-1 to win it based on the ritual they did winning their opening day game 11-7. 267 days after Bush's birthday against Philly, the 267 area code, only for the World Series to come around, George W. Bush to throw out the first pitch, and then the 119th World Series to end on his 119th day of his age as the Rangers play the Diamondbacks, who only made it to the World Series back when he was president after 9/11. Mockery. But June 3rd, always major rituals, Grand Slams. The other year, it was the first no-hitter of the year. With regards to 117, two-time Cy Young winner, Roy Halladay died in a plane crash off the coast of Holiday, Florida. Halladay off the coast of Holiday on November 7th, 117, the day leaving 54 days left in the year. Again, these base ciphers, all of these sports, rigged and scripted, ritual sacrifice year after year by the numbers. And you know, like there's a guy in the world, you guys might know him. His name's like something like Jake the Nobody. You know, you might know him. He's known to take off his shirt and eat raw meat on screen and say the Earth's flat and then call people the N word. This guy, Jake the Nobody, he keeps making videos trying to slander my work, and he calls himself like a truth teller. It's like, dude, you're a flat earther, first of all. You guys are the people that make us all look like a joke. You're a racist. You have no legacy. Why do you keep trying to slander what I'm doing over here when my work proves what's going on? Who are these frauds in the community, and why do people even watch and support them? You know, like, I mean, I know the guy's 10 million miles beneath me, but people keep coming over here and posting this guy's videos. Who are you losers that support this stuff? Who are you people? So I've pinned a comment for any of you trash human beings to come on here, and I will let you speak. Explain to me why you're trying to trash what I'm doing when what I'm doing is undeniable. Again, I got a million mile long resume of proving the relevance of this work and what's going on. And then you got guys like Jake the Nobody who are getting on streams saying the Earth again. Just like, what are they doing? Do people find it entertaining? Do you find it entertaining to watch some guy with a little puny chest beat on his chest while he eats raw meat and calls people the N-word? I mean, I guess it represents what's wrong with the world. There's just too many losers. And again, people get mad at me because I speak from the heart and say things that I mean, and people don't like everything that I have to say. But I can't stand the Illuminati and the way they dupe humanity. But at this point, I'll say it again. The one thing that I'm on board with is their depopulation plan, because I just see how trash humanity is. And I say, I think they are right to flush them all down the toilet. Wipe them out of here. Who are these people still going to these football games? Who is still giving money to these evil leagues that sacrifice people and make fun of the fans who show up and pay a fortune to go to the games? You know, a society of people that'll pay $200 a month for their cable bill and watch nothing but ads and bullshit, but can't find $1 a month to support the hardest working truth speaker there ever was, putting out the dopest knowledge there ever was. Flush it all away. I'm like Maynard James Keenan, what's his name? Maynard James Keenan on Anima, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, the link's out there. Let's see. Hey, this guy's not trash. Shout out to Michael. I met Michael out in New York. He pounded pavement with us in Buffalo. What's up, Michael?
Hey Zach, what's going on, man? Hey, I know you were talking about the Royal Rumble, the guy that won it back to back, and he come in at number 15.
50 exactly. So for people to know, the night before the conference championships, every year we're showing the WWE and the NFL connection is Patrick Mahomes holding the WWE belt. The Royal Rumble was won by the 15th entrant, and he won back to back, just like how Mahomes wears 15, and he's trying to do this back to back thing. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't know. You probably don't know this, but there was another Royal Rumble that night. There was a women's Royal Rumble, and the women that won it, she's from California, and she's a 49ers fan.
I see. Interesting.
So yeah, I figured, well, there's the 49ers, narrative where she's a 49ers fan and she's from the Bay Area, so there you go.
That's a thought. Chiefs going for 4-2 in Super Bowls, though, on the 42nd day of the year. They got a Rice on their team who wears number 4. I don't know. Yep. That's what's standing out to me.
I was thinking too. I was like, well, I think there is a narrative for the 49ers, but if the 49ers win, they're 6-2 in Super Bowls, like Patrick Mahomes is 62.
That's true. That's probably the best narrative for the 49ers. It's going to be Mahomes' 4th Super Bowl, and if he wins, he'll be 3-1, like Chiefs equals 31. Remember, they beat the Niners with 31 points, and this year in the AFC and NFC, the final conference championships were both 3 seed versus 1 seed. And again, in Vegas, they just changed the airport name from Patrick to Reed. So I can't. And again, it's Andy Reid who's sitting on 58 losses and born in 58. So we'll see.
Yeah. They got the script tight, so we'll see what happens.
All right, Michael. That's the one my dad wants. My dad's a big 49er fan, so
yeah. Well, I'm trying to pull him for him because I'm tired of the Mahomes, but I think Mahomes is going to win. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Again, Montana's 67. That's the Kansas City number.
All right, Zach. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had though. With
All right, Michael. Good to hear from you, man. You have a good one.
yeah, you too.
Say hi to your family. Take care.
We'll do. You too.
I was blown away. I got to meet his family when I was back in New York, and he had some family members over there, and I don't want to give his never mind. I don't want to give away his family. His family members that were there had the same number or same names as the brother and sister that were good friends that I grew up next to. It kind of blew me away. Anyway, what's up, Mukhtar?
Yo, so I was listening to Undisputed this morning, and Skip Bayless, he asked Richard Sherman, he said, because he played in that Super Bowl 4 years ago, right? So he asked him like, what did he remember like from Patrick Mahomes 4 years ago and stuff like that. So he said he remembered that Patrick Mahomes had like a good fourth quarter, like if the Chiefs win, this is gonna be their fourth Super Bowl title, right?
Exactly, because it looked like the Chiefs had lost that game, and they had a big fourth quarter comeback. Exactly, and his fourth Super Bowl. They're trying to win number 4. Now they got a Rice who wears number 4. So yeah,
Yeah, and he also said, like he said, especially in the last 7 minutes, Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl wins, and he was saying something about 3rd and 15. That 3rd and 15 was special. Like if Mahomes win, this is gonna be his 3rd title, and he wears number 15.
and it could be the 49ers' 3rd Super Bowl loss as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I thought that was kind of crazy because like the way he said it and everything, I'm like, wow, it's just it just all correlated with what you said in that live yesterday and stuff. So I'm like, wow, like are they just reading off of like something or like what's going on?
Getting the scripts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now we got a guy named Amir in the chat, but Amir, it says, you see how it says device is not connected? You got to at least connect your microphone. Otherwise I can't go to you. You don't have to connect your camera if you don't want to be on screen, but you got to connect your mic. While we wait for him, let's go out to Eric.
Hey, Zach, 206, man. How you doing?
Doing well. What's up?
Hey, yeah, Travis Kelce. So Pfizer Kelsey there beats Jerry Rice yesterday, right? Gets the 152nd playoff receptions. He beat Jerry Rice. And I want to mention that I watched the game. Ever since I've woken up, I used to be a rabid sports fan. I grew up on the NFL and the NBA and all that back in the 80s, man, during the Jordan years and all that. I have a hard time just watching it now. It's so boring, and it's so like the freaking spell was lifted, you know what I mean? And you're a big part of that, man. But I've tried to get interested in it enough to kind of involve myself in possibly doing some lightweight gambling on, the NBA and the NFL, but I can't even muster the interest enough to even want to. I used to be the kind of guy that read the box scores when I was a Cubs fan. I used to just buy the paper and just look at the box scores, right? The win losses and all that stuff, man. And I can't, I just don't, no interest, whatever. And another point was Reed's connection to, he came up under Holmgren, didn't he? And Holmgren started in San Francisco, didn't he?
Yeah.
I just want to mention those two things. Those were the only things I had. But Zach, I wouldn't mind having a chat with you. The thing for me in Gematria is it's more of a deep dive. This whole weekend, I got on a tip with. I just did Did you ever do much decoding regarding Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and their connection to each other and how they came up together? Have you done any kind of decodes on that?
The 1979 college.
Yeah, how they began with
22nd prime when basketball is 22. Magic and Bird both 33. Of course, Bird wearing 33. What they just did with the Lakers this year. And versus Indiana, ran by Bird now in the play-in tournament, and just the rituals with Kobe. Again, Kobe died 201 days from Magic Johnson's birthday, and then LeBron won the finals that year in the Magic's bubble. So,
did you know that they both entered the draft, the 1979 NBA draft? Did you know that was the 33rd NBA draft?
Oh, I was overlooking that. So there's the double. Wow, Magic and Bird in the 33rd draft. Who would've
And
thought?
it was at the end of the 30. They started in the 34th season, so the 33rd NBA season had just passed, and they entered the 33rd draft.
And they say they saved basketball. Those two. They say the pro basketball might have gone out.
They
without them.
dude, it was scripted. I'm wondering if they were both 6'9" and 220. Okay, look at their exact same physicality stats. And Bird's dad died, okay, when he was in high school still. He was a Vietnam vet, and he died at age 48, okay? And there's a lot of 48 all over them. Magic scored 48 points when he was in junior high, okay? And then Bird's dad died, and then Magic had his best friend die in 1976 that he played basketball with. Some kid named Reggie Chastain died at, I think he was 17, while Magic was 17. Here it was it was 7 months, and there's a lot of 71 on this whole thing, but it was 7 months in a day, or 7 weeks in a day. Let's see. I'm sorry, dude. I'm taking you off but I did this whole thing, man. And anyway, I just want to tell you that my thing is like I get on like a topic, and I just go and I have like 10 pages on Bird and Magic, and I wouldn't mind, just sounding it off to you, man, because the numbers, like 71, right? Catholic. It's a big Catholic number. It's also Babylon.
Celtics
right?
is 71. Celtics is 71.
Right. Bird / Magic, I think doesn't that equal? Wait, no, it doesn't. Bird / Magic. Oh, darn. Where is it? Anyway, there's a lot of 79, massive amounts of 79. They both have 56. Bird was born in 56. Magic Johnson equals 56. LA
Hey,
Lakers,
real quick,
of course.
about the 56 thing. So HBO, was it like 2 years ago now, put out the show Winning Time about kind of the rivalry with Lakers and
Yeah.
Celtics. But the first scene in the show, they got the date November 5th. And it's Magic Johnson in the doctor's waiting room just finding out that he has HIV. So I was like, oh, because if you actually look in the history books, they don't tell you anywhere exactly when Magic Johnson found out he had HIV.
Oh, you can't find a date?
That's the day leaving 56 days left in the year, the big Jesuit day, Guy Fawkes Day.
Yep.
And then that came out at the time of COVID with all the 56 stuff. And of course, Anthony Fauci was like the face of HIV and COVID. So, and Anthony Fauci equals 56, like Society of Jesus. He went to Holy Cross. But yeah, so go figure the 56s are there as well.
Well, yeah, Magic / Bird equals 56 and 79. And I was just like, I'm shocked, man. I mean, 79 was the big year for those guys. They met in the NCAA. And regarding 48, the tournament in 79 had 40 teams that year. The next year after Bird and Magic, they went up to 48 teams. The big Illuminati number. I couldn't believe it, man. Bird Magic equals 48. Boston Celtics 48. Hollywood equals 48. East against West equals 48. Fred Stabley, the staff writer from Lansing State Journal, and when Magic was in high school, is the one that coined his nickname Magic in the paper. And they even put the date. They put the date of the article. I could probably dig for it, but I can't remember what the numerology is. But yeah, it's a deep one, man. The Magic Bird connection, and that's the kind of stuff I'm interested in.
Yeah, that's when I start writing books too. That's the nice thing about writing a book, because you're like, I want to add more to it. I want to prove it even further, and you start going deep. And then I always do my best work when I'm writing my books. And both times I've written books, and I've been working on this other book forever, which has helped me dig up a lot of 201 stuff. But yeah, it can be super helpful. But at the same time, it's like, don't just get lost in the sauce. Make sure like it goes to a point. Again, the point I'm just constantly pounding home is the Jesuits run this thing, and I know I'm not wrong about that. Look at Bill Russell.
Jesuit orders there, man. It's all over.
Yeah, Bill Russell. Look at Bill Russell's death of the Celtics. He dies on the last day of the Jesuit Ignatian year when he was Jesuit educated, and he went to University of San Francisco, the Jesuit school, and then the Boston Celtic legend, and then he dies right after the San Francisco team beats Boston on the last day of the Jesuit Ignatian year. Plus, he's born on February 12th, and he died on the 212th day of the year. So there's something going on with that 212.
Totally.
But
yeah, I probably have some 212s in here too. I just have to go by, what I kind of know, and then I go back to the base, like the Illuminati, the Jesuit order. Go back to those base kind of numbers, and you find them all over the place, man. NCAA final equals 56. You know what I mean? Yeah, tragic magic equals 71. After Bird beat him in the final when they first met, and that was an 84, right? Big 84 number, right? That's when Bird and Magic met the first time in the finals in the 84 finals. And then Bird won the MVP, and they called Magic tragic magic in the paper after that, and that equals 71. Anyway, man, it's all incredibly woven together, man. You know what I mean? And you're like, and they saved the NBA, those two guys. And I'm thinking this thing was all scripted for that very fact. That's the only thing you can come to, man. You know what I mean?
You remember
Seriously.
the 201 ritual they just did with Magic Johnson's father's death? That wasn't even a year ago.
Oh yeah, 88. He died at 88, right? Yeah, I got that on here, man. Yep. And I'm wondering, you see these guys standing next to their dads. I saw a picture of Magic when I was looking through some information, and he's like a foot taller than his dad, man. I mean,
it's like Michael Jordan and his father.
Was he? Yeah, Michael Jordan. The same thing, right? Doesn't even look well. He resembled his dad maybe a little bit,
but he's like a foot taller than him.
Is that really his dad? You know what I mean?
It's like, how do you grow up to be a foot taller than your dad?
Exactly.
Like, what was the mom?
Who was
like
the real
8 feet
sire?
tall?
Who was the real sire, right, of these guys? Seriously.
And it's just like these players in the league, man. It's like Jimmy Butler. I'm pretty sure that's Jordan's son.
And that's come
Edwards
out
on the Timberwolves. I'm pretty sure that's another Jordan son.
Dude, it's come out.
Draymond Green. I'm pretty sure that's Magic Johnson's son. So, and there's.
I saw that come out, dude.
I know. People always say I'm wrong. I know I'm not wrong.
No, it came out.
Nate Thurmond is the father of LeBron James. No doubt about it. He played for the Warriors and the Cavs, all these rituals at the Warriors. I mean, come on. Nate Thurmond, LeBron, and Steph Curry all born in the same hospital in Akron, Ohio. This isn't getting weird. Come on, man.
No, man. They've been some busy people, man, planning some major things. I mean, it's wow. But anyway, on another height point, have you seen how much taller Bill Gates' dad was than he was? Bill Gates' dad was like
what they did with Bill Gates' father, William Henry
6'10".
Gates, 258, dead on the 258th day of the year. I remember that.
Yeah, but he was like a foot taller than him too, man. It's like, was Bill Gates even from his loins, or was he even a guy when he was born, dude? That's my question. I think Bill Gates may have been born a girl, but I don't know. That's a whole crazy conspiracy theory. But anyway,
you want to get into conspiracy theories again? Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos both look like they're from different universes, and they both started their businesses in New Mexico and then moved up to Seattle, the Space Needle land where the first UFO sighting was.
Epstein and everything weird comes out of freaking New Mexico, man. Right? Epstein had his connection down there as well. Yeah, man, it's something funny down there in New Mexico for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, man, I'm gonna let you go. We can go round and round and off to a tangent, but thanks for taking the call. Or it's not really a call, but anyway, thanks for having
it is. All right, later, Eric. Good call, man.
Later, dude. How do you hang up on this thing?
I'll hang up. What's up, Amir? Amir?
Hey there, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Perfect.
Hey man, I just wanna thank you. Like 2 weeks ago, you had the Hornets against the Timberwolves. I got a bad number on that. It was like plus 800, but I put down 50. I got back like 430. I was able to withdraw that and then go to another sports book. I was able to turn 30 into 1,000. You're a huge part of that too, because yesterday I nuked the Chiefs money line. Man, your research is top notch. I'm gonna do the same thing next 2 weeks with Chiefs again. But I just want to thank you so much, man, for real.
You're welcome, man. Yeah, the Hornets have been good to us this year. We had them on like a 15-point underdog earlier this year against the Kings, and they took care of business. So the Hornets have been nice for us this year.
I also had them again against the Celtics. They won because of your research. Earlier, I think 2 months ago, they beat the Celtics, and the Hornets were at home. But yeah, man, for just $10 a month, that Patreon is so worth it.
Yeah. Again, I wish more people would support. A lot of people could be coming up, helping me out. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like a whiner. I mean, I do have good support. Thank you to everyone who does. But my support's way down in the last 2 years, undeservedly. I mean, the work's been good. We've been doing more. We've been pounding payment, and the support's 50% of what it was. And again, it's made things hard here for me with the domestic life because Sweet Lady never liked me traveling in the first place. But now she's saying, CZAC, no point in traveling because people don't care. Your support fell off. Just stay home and do sports games. So anyway.
Anyways, you stay safe, man. All right. I'll see you.
Congrats, Amir. Take care. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Zach. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know if you have seen the news in New London, Connecticut over the past few days.
I have not seen it.
It's interesting. There is a church there, and a large steeple collapsed that was made of stone. And they had a press conference. The mayor came on, and he said that they were going to be demolishing the whole of the church this weekend, and they did. And it's so strange to me because of how you always speak of how, England really is in charge. This is like a perfect ritual, in my opinion, of Britain, England being in charge of America still. And also kind of a ritual to the 9/11. They have the two steeples that were left and weren't destroyed. They made a big to-do about how they were destroying those two steeples. And when they reported it, they actually reported it that the two towers were down.
Yeah, the never-ending mockery. That didn't happen January 27th, did it?
I think it may have. It's been going on a few days, man.
Hold on. I just got to look. If it happened on January 27th, I'm going to die.
Well, let's see, because I have some stuff I saved about it, and it's actually really interesting too. They've moved all of the services from the church that had the collapse, and they've moved them to the St. James Episcopal Church. So I don't know if you're familiar with that church at all. I wasn't, so I looked into it this weekend, and I believe it was one of the first churches that was founded when the British came over. And I just find it ironic that now everything has moved there. It's under the guise of the Salvation Army, which was a whole other rabbit hole I went down that I kind of wish I hadn't. But that's actually a British organization as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with it, so I'd have to do more research.
Okay, yeah. Here, I think I can, if I could flip it around, but just the locations too. It's the Salvation Army store, and between that and the church that actually got demolished is exactly 1 mile. But they feed the homeless, and I guess that with that church collapsing, that's the community has really been missing the free meals. They would serve over 70 people a day. So they've moved to the St. James Church. I find it interesting just because it has so much history to it as well. And the fact that they came on the news and said, we have destroyed the remaining two towers.
Sure.
I was just like, that's so crazy.
They got to rub it in your face. Yeah.
Well, they always do. They always do. So, but that was something that I kind of wanted to see if you'd looked into or seen. There's just been a lot of stuff going on in that area of America, and that's just from what I see, and including like a lot of weather. To me, New York and Massachusetts, I've heard from people that basically it just has to drizzle and their lawn is just so soaked already, it's just like overflowing. So I think there's a lot going on in that area of America. I'm sure you have listeners there, maybe, I don't know. But I think that's a very hot spot. And even this weekend, they had all that stuff, and that's on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. And it's almost like they're coming down, the coast. So I don't know what that means, or if that would mean anything to you.
I have to research all this. I catch that New London has the Gematria 44, and I see that St. James, he's connected to the year 44 AD, his
Okay.
year of death.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's a lot more to it. So I'll look more into this because I was not aware of this story. So
yes, and I know other people want to get on, but I also just wanted to mention about Jeffrey Epstein, which I know is sort of a controversial topic, I guess. But I did not realize that Leslie Wexner, I think is how you say it, or Les Wexner, was such a close companion of his. And Les Wexner ran Bath and Body Works for many years, and I worked under him when he ran it. And just crazy. So next time I call in, I'll tell you about that if you're interested. It's super interesting.
Okay, TFR Wednesday would be great for that.
Awesome. Well, I'll catch you later then.
All right,
Thanks for taking
Laura.
my call.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
All right. We actually don't have anybody else in the back room right now. They call it the back room when you join the link. If you never joined a show on StreamYard, you just click the link and it puts you in the back room. And then I got to add you to the show, and you have the choice if you want to put your camera on. You definitely have to put your mic on, otherwise nobody's going to hear you, but you don't have to show your face. So if we have anyone else out there, like, again, I know that the trolls, they're always watching, they're always hating, they're always leaving comments. And I just really wish one of them would come on just one day and bring a real debate. I don't think it can be done. I think all they can do is just be in the comments and leave trollish comments and lie about things. And they just know it wouldn't fly if they had to debate. So, and I just think, like, what's wrong with you guys? You guys really, like, you don't care about all the ritual sacrifice that we're exposing year after year? You don't think every sports fan should know about this? You don't think everybody who buys tickets should know about this, who takes their family out to the game should know about this, that the game's rigged and they're killing people? I think a lot of people might think twice about going to the game if they realize this was going on. And for the person who might hear this the first time and just deny it in an instant, which a lot of people will do, they keep getting presented with it, a light bulb will eventually go off. How could it not? How could it not? The thing about Doc Rivers going to the Bucks, for people who don't know, today is Doc Rivers, the one-time player, NBA coach. So he went to the Jesuit school Marquette in Milwaukee, and tonight is going to be his first game coaching the Milwaukee Bucks on 129. Remember, 129 is 201 in base 8 counting, 201 big number with the Jesuits. At the beginning of Tommy Boy, Chris Farley's taking the exam at Marquette. Right on the top of the exam, it says exam number 201. And then we all know what happened to Chris Farley, R.I.P. But in the end of that Tommy Boy movie, he's in that building in Chicago where supposedly he died. And he goes in there like a terrorist, pretending to blow it up to get on TV. And that movie came out not long before 9/11. Anyhow, Doc Rivers, Jesuit educated, and he's playing Malone, who's also Jesuit educated, the Nuggets coach. So you start looking at these NBA coaches, like half of them are Jesuit and half the players are Jesuit in Catholic schools. It's like that all through pro sports if you pay attention. That's how you can see who's running the show. They're running your politicians, they're running your sports leagues, they're running your news networks. Start looking, it's just Jesuits everywhere. But anyway, Doc Rivers' first game tonight on 129, exactly 129 days before the NBA Finals, facing the defending champions, the Denver Nuggets, who won the Finals last year 4-1 with Jokic, the 41st pick of the draft, on the anniversary of number 41's birthday, George H.W. Bush. So you got a nice little Jesuit ritual going with Milwaukee tonight. And then the next game for Milwaukee is in Portland, which is where Damian Lillard just got sent from Portland to Milwaukee. And look at this, you guys, just how scripted the league is. So Damian Lillard's 33 years old. Oregon's the 33rd state. If Milwaukee were to win tonight, they'd get their 33rd win. Or if not, they could hold off the 33rd win until they face Oregon, the 33rd state. But the game between Milwaukee and Portland will be on the 100th day of the NBA season. Milwaukee's 100, Portland's 100, right? So these two teams, and notice they got overlap with the 37s as well. I'll never forget the day we called the Damian Lillard game winner against the Thunder in the playoffs because it was all about 37. There's like 1,037s on that game. And Lillard did hit the game winner at the buzzer, and they said that was a 37-foot shot. We're like, oh, my God. Not only did we call the game winner and all the 37s, they had to tell you he won it with a 37-footer. But anyway, Portland and Milwaukee, Damian Lillard back in Portland. And Damian Lillard got sent to Milwaukee on September 27th, the day in history that the Jesuits were recognized by Rome. Here, just to go back to the Damian Lillard trade. Just to go back to it. Again, just always reminded that it's Jesuits, Jesuits, Jesuits. Right here, September 27th, the day leaving 95 days left in the year. The Jesuits recognized on that day in history to stop the 95 Theses. We all know what they did to MLK. Again, Martin Luther wrote the 95 Theses, and MLK got smoked on the 95th day of the year. Now his son's dead 1 week after what would have been his 95th birthday. But Lillard got shipped 74 days after his 33rd birthday. Again, Oregon's the only state out of the 50 that equals 74 in the simple cipher, the same one where Milwaukee and Portland's 100. And again, just the Milwaukee-Portland overlap. I should have put the hundreds down there too, but yeah, now he returns on the 100th day of the season. Damian Lillard, 56, like Society of Jesus, like Bucks. You know, Bucks were one of the winning teams in the time of COVID, which was everything was 56. Everybody was a 56. Yeah, they did this for the Bucks' 56th season. Hold up. Let me make sure. Let me make sure that wasn't just for. Pretty sure that's right though. Yep, Bucks 56th season. So, I mean, just think about it, you guys. Marquette, the Jesuit school's there. Now they got the Jesuit educated coach in their 56th season. See how they do it? Damian Lillard to the Bucks for the 56th season. It's all scripted. And it's all Kabbalah, and it's all Gematria. And, oh, by the way, Blazers are in their 54th season. Jesuit Order 54, Society of Jesus 56. Two names for the same thing. You see it all the time with HBO death rituals. HBO has the 56. Home box office has the 54. See how home box office is 126? Remember, oh boy, what's his name? What's the dude from Friends who just died? Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry died at age 54. 126 weeks after the HBO special on Friends. And then at the time they said he was worth 126 million too. HBO always doing those little giveaways with Hard Knocks for the rigged NFL season. So anyway, major Jesuit ritual, the Lillard shipping, and now he comes back to Portland by the numbers in the simple little code we've been teaching about for over a decade. And I'm from Portland, and I first caught on to sports being scripted by the code, just paying attention to what they were doing with the Blazers at the time. NBA season started about a month and a half after I learned Gematria. And I was like, wait a minute, they're just putting way too many 37s always up on the screen with Portland, and I'm seeing Portland equals 37. Hold on, let me start looking at some of these other cities. Wait a minute. So, hold up, we got some more people in here. What's up, Trey? Trey's too busy shooting three-pointers.
Can you hear me?
What's up, man?
Hey, I had called earlier. I'm the 49ers 88 dude, but I didn't get to finish with everything else I wanted to say. Have you looked into Ronnie Lott? Do you know who Ronnie Lott is?
Supposedly cut his finger off in the Super Bowl?
Yeah. So, he got drafted to the 49ers. He played for USC. He got drafted to the 49ers in 1981, which was 42 years ago. He wore number 42. Another interesting thing, though, he ended up, the last team he went to was with the Kansas City Chiefs in 1995. And then also he was born May 8th, 1959. So he has that 5'8" as well. So I thought those were kind of interesting. Also, I think Brock Purdy is sitting on some interesting stats right now too. I don't know if you want to check those out. And then lastly, I don't know if it could be a thing. It might be a little bit of a stretch, but the Chiefs originated as the Dallas Texans.
We've been talking about that, right, since day one of the playoffs. Again,
Okay.
first playoff games were who won? The Texans and Chiefs on the same day on 58 date numerologies. I was pointing out the Chiefs got to 5 and 8 in the wild card and had all the 58s. Again,
Right.
we talk about these same things all the time.
Yeah, I was just
Chiefs.
Yeah, I looked into them and saw that the Dallas Texans original color was blue, silver, and white. So just in light of the logo thing, maybe blue with the Chiefs red now. But I know that could be a bit of a stretch. So yeah, I was just looking, and then also Ronnie White has been in the news like low key, like nothing major, but he has been in there quite a bit. throughout the year. Most recent thing I seen was I guess actually he brought Deion Sanders' son had to go do some surgery on his hand or whatever, and I guess Deion told him to cut the tip off like Ronnie. Um, that was a couple days ago. So yeah, I just wanted to throw those things out there.
All right.
What do you think about that?
Well, Ronnie Lott's not the script. The script is Montana, Brady, Mahomes. So,
Right.
like I just said earlier to you, stick to the things that they're putting in front of your face. You didn't see Ronnie Lott out there yesterday. You saw Joe Montana out there. So,
Fair enough. Cool. Thanks,
all right.
man.
Yeah, appreciate it. And just to remind you also what they're doing. Kobe Bryant died the Sunday before Super Bowl 54. Kobe Bean Bryant equals 54. They're putting up the Kobe statue February 8th, 3 days before the Super Bowl, as Mahomes tries to win his third Super Bowl since Kobe died. And again, Kobe was about the biggest thing in sports in his era. Mahomes is now the biggest. Mahomes is surpassing LeBron as the biggest thing in sports right now. And again, they're putting up Kobe Bean Bryant. Let's just do it again. Kobe Bean Bryant, 54 forwards, 81 in reverse, like his career high 81. And we just had the anniversary of his 81-point game. And Embiid in Philly, Kobe's hometown, just had that 70-point game, not far off. And then Towns for the Minnesota team had a huge night too. And the Lakers started in Minneapolis. But if you drop the bean from Kobe Bryant's got the 58, right? Of course, 41 too, like he died at 41. Kobe Bryant, 157, died on the 157th day of his age at age 41 on the Pope's 41st. Kobe died at 41 on the 157th day of his own age, traveling from Catholic Mass, dead on the Pope's 41st day of his age. Pope Francis is also 58. But again, this Kobe statue goes up February 8th, 2/8/24, because his daughter wore 2. He wore 8. And it's 24. Kobe wore 8 and 24. But again, Derek Thomas of the Chiefs, who wore number 58. Derek Thomas, it's his 24th death anniversary, the day they put up the number 24 statue for Kobe. Or, again, the Kobe statue is going up on his 24th death anniversary 3 days before the Super Bowl as Mahomes tries to win his third. I got to go back and look at this real quick. What day was the car accident? Because he got in an accident and then he died at the hospital weeks later, supposedly from the accident. I just want to go back and look. I actually haven't. It just dawned on me right now. It was January 23rd. Okay, Kobe's birthday is August 23rd. So it was 5 months after Kobe's birthday. Of course, and basketball is a game of 5-on-5. Let's go back and look at this real quick. Kobe was a young star in the NBA. Drafted in 96, so it's 4 years after getting drafted. 8/23, 1999, Prince song. All right, he gets in the wreck January 23rd, 2000. 153 days later. Interesting, because, we're talking about who's doing this. Jesuit orders 153. That's the 17th triangular number, too. If you had 1 through 17, it's 153. A big number at the NBA and their ritual, 17. Like LeBron going from the 17th state to the Lakers on 1-7 and then winning them their 17th championship in his 17th season. Don't forget who told you that would happen. Day 1 he went there. February 8, 2000. So he died 169 days after Kobe's birthday, which is square root 13, big LA number. You could also say he died on Kobe's 170th day of his age, which is sacrifice number. Derek Thomas was a big star in sports, so you could see why they might sacrifice a 58 for Kobe. What happened in the 1999-2000 NBA season? Can't remember now. That was the 54th season. Okay, Kobe Bean Bryant. Lakers beat the Pacers that year. And just, that fits in with the whole Bird and Magic thing. Shaq was on that team. We started with the Magic. Again, Larry Bird from Indiana. 54th season, Kobe's winning it. And just with this parallel with Derek Thomas, and now here we are, Super Bowl 58, the 54th of the modern era, right where we began with, the Reds and the Joe Montanas and Interesting. Interesting. All right, we'll leave it there. Shout out to Carl. Carl with the 5 British pounds and the 99, pretty much a buck in British pounds. What do you guys call it over there? Quid? Gotta work on my UK slang. Look at the troll. Definitely didn't have Lions and Ravens. Definitely last thought of the game. And not to mention, we had a future before the season began for 49ers Chiefs. But anyone who was on my Patreon this week saw the stream before Sunday. I clearly said, I've been marinating on it. The top narrative is Niners Chiefs. Exactly what I said before the games were played. So it was all laid out. Anyone can watch the stream and confirm that that is 1,000,000% true. Hold on, we got one more person in here. Then I think we can wrap it up. What's up, Charleston Moore?
Yo, what up, Zach? I'm not sure. I missed the sports stream earlier.
What happened to your audio? Just went out.
Yo, can you hear me, Zach?
There, now I can.
Okay, I said I missed the sports stream earlier, so I'm not sure if anybody mentioned the Taylor Swift in 13. I don't know if you heard about that, but it's funny because my girlfriend actually pointed this out. I just recently woke her up, and she's starting to see everything, man. So she pointed this out to me, how Taylor Swift is claiming that 13 is her lucky number, right? And a news report came out that said she's recently been to 12, or she's been up to this point 12 Chiefs games. So that means this next one is going to be 13. And then she was just saying how, the Chiefs are the 3rd seed, the Niners are the 1 seed. And then you got the Super Bowl date, 2 plus 11, that's the 13 there. And then you got Super Bowl 58, A's plus 5 is 13. So they're making this big deal of Taylor Swift about to be at a 13th Chiefs game, but they're saying she's going to be in Tokyo. And they were saying how the flight from Tokyo to Vegas is 13 hours. So she's going to try to make it to the game. Coming off tour from Tokyo, it's a 13-hour flight. And I just kind of found that funny because, this whole thing with Taylor Swift, I'm trying to figure out what exactly 13, what 13 can have to do with it. I'm not sure if you have anything, but I know that Andy Reid's son.
Here's a couple of things: KC 13, NFL 13, America's Game 13 stripes, 13 colonies.
Yep. And then you got Andy Reid's son dying on 8/5, another 13 with Super Bowl 58. But I don't know. I feel like, man, I don't know. I don't know if it could be bait, because they're saying that every time, she's been to the Chiefs game, they've won so far. And then the Super Bowl is going to be her 13th game. And she is
that true that every game she's been to, they won? I feel like there was one that she was at where they definitely didn't win. By the way, Super Bowl, we call it the 41, Super Bowl is 41, which is the 13th prime number, like USA equals 41. Like the Jesuit suppression lasted 41 years, and then the USA was created in that time. So
okay. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to point that out to you. So yeah, maybe you could look into it. Maybe you hear stuff about it. But yeah, that Taylor Swift and 13, lucky number 13 for Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Yeah, Zach. All right, man. Have a good one.
I appreciate it. All right, last call for anybody who wants to join the stream. If not, we can leave it there. But as per usual, trolls just waiting to post false comments. I got a whole bunch of trolls that are always slandering. I mean, it's crazy how many videos, if you search my name, just have nothing but false information and cut up videos that are super misleading. My troll loser put out a video yesterday that we had a horrible divisional round week. How? How? We went 3-1 in our game picks, hit a bunch of player props, had the 10-1 on what's the tight end for the Niners? Kittle. We had Kittle to score the first touchdown at 10-1 odds. So 3-1 in games, hit most of our player props, 10-1 on Kittle, and you put out a video that we had a terrible division round, and you put my picture up there with a clown nose on it. Notice that loser right now who's screen recording won't call in. You're a horrible human being. It's super dishonest what you do. There's him and there's somebody else who does the same thing as him on BitChute. They make slightly different videos, but there's a guy who uploads a video about me on BitChute every day slandering too. So it's like, we didn't have a bad divisional round, God. Are you going to say we had a bad conference championship round 2 and a bad future that landed? That's what this guy does every day. Loser. The reason I like George Kittle to score the first touchdown against the Packers last week is because he's from Wisconsin. It was the Packers' 103rd season, and that game was 103 days after Kittle's birthday. And 103 is a special number because, like, Jesuits is 103, but 103 is also the 27th prime, and a big ritual number is 27. And these games are rituals, so like, oh, doesn't it just make so much sense if Kittle scores the first touchdown and boom, sure enough. So. Yeah, but that loser is just always doing that. He's saying we had a bad this, bad that. It's like, no, we didn't have like, what did you chop up and put in there to show that we had a bad week? Impossible. Yeah, we also had that one caller too who was like, do the birthday distance between Goff and Lamar Jackson. See, 816 days. One wears 8, the other 16. Super Bowl lock. I was like, that's not how I decode. I don't know about that. So, these people are definite trolls. I agree. I didn't know Gematria when I knew pro sports were rigged. I knew pro sports were rigged when I was a child. So, and I knew this as a child. And again, people think this is like me. Oh, Zach's a narcissist. No, sorry, it's just reality. I knew when I was a child. By the time I was about age 7, 8, 9, I realized I was smarter than most of the adults around me. And that's just a fact. And again, I seen through pro sports since I was that age. I had to grow up watching Jordan. Jordan was like the Mahomes. It was like watching the Ravens Chiefs game yesterday. That was Jordan. Everything was a foul if you touch Jordan. If you guard, you don't even have to touch him. You just got to guard him. He's got to miss his shot. Oh, Jordan missed. Foul. Like, foul? He just missed. There wasn't even any body contact. What foul? Jordan could come out like poke a guy's eyes out. No call. No, it's been this way my whole life, man. It's gotten worse though as time's gone on, but as a child watching that, I was like, this is rigged. That's why they pay these guys money. So they all just shut up and just go along with it. Oh, well, they lost the championship, but they're all millionaires. Look at them all roll out to their mansion, driving out in their Mercedes Benzes and whatnot. Oh, Blazers just folded against the Lakers. Look at them all roll out in their $100,000 cars back to the mansion. So... But yeah, that's how I eventually found Gematria. Then as an adult, you're paying attention more and more, and you're like, oh, you're learning more about life, and you're like, oh, look at this. Oh, Kabbalah, the Cabal, Masonry. Okay, it's all making sense. Let me look into this. Oh, look at this. This is making a lot of sense. Look at us. We're calling the future now with these rigged sports leagues. Yeah, again, it's what I realized, and it's the same thing, you guys. Nothing's changed in the whole time I've been living on this earth, and I'm sure it was this way before I got here. There's just not that many smart people. That's the reality, you know? Look at how the Cabal mocks him. I mean, how bad was it last year to have Mahomes? Like, see, if I didn't know Gematria, I'd be like, really? Mahomes is going to win the Super Bowl in State Farm Stadium doing State Farm ads all year? Really? See, the dumb fan will be like, well, Rodgers hasn't won any Super Bowls in the time he's been doing the State Farm ads. The smarter guy goes, yeah, but Rodgers was wearing green. You know, he's been wearing the green on the Packers Jets. That's not the State Farm colors. Their colors are red. Red. The guy in the red's winning. But then you learn Gematria. It's like, well, look at that. State Farm 103, 103rd NFL season. State Farm's hosting the Super Bowl. Mahomes is walking into the game 10-3. He's walking out 11-3 in the playoffs after beating the Eagles. And then the dummy's like, but 4 ciphers. Like, yeah, okay. You remind me of what I knew when I was 7, living in the land of the moron. So, anyway, and not to mention also just, again, the Len Dawson ritual last year on Kobe Bryant Day. And let's not forget, Mahomes won his first Super Bowl at age 24, right after Kobe's death, number 24. And that was the thing with the 24th anniversary of Derek Thomas's death. But, Yeah, there's one other thought that just slipped through the cracks. It's okay. All right, guys, join the Patreon if you want the knowledge before the games. We'll be talking sports all week. Well, we're back to the daily sports shows. I can't finish my damn book, so I might as well just get back to daily sports shows. Been just spinning the wheels for 3 years on the book, and it's my bad for not finishing the million different versions of the book I had. But it's just I haven't been able to get over the thought in the back of my mind that I've written 2 good books and they've hardly gotten any readership, and at least in terms of what I've been paid and told. And every time I make a YouTube video, even though we don't get any views anymore, it still does better than any book sale every single video. So people don't read no more. What's up, Youthphoria MG? Thank you for the $5. Rig sports is the iceberg of our rig society. Wake up. Indeed. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's just, that's what people are just so fixated on too. So, and RIP to the Matador. What mockery. The Matador with the red for another all-red Joe Montana Super Bowl when Joe Montana and red are 54. And again, Super Bowl 58 is the 54th of the modern era. Yeah, don't forget what they just did with Jordan last week. I mean, oh my God. Every year we're showing what they're doing in the NBA with Jordan's birthday. I mean, come on, man. The Lakers become 23-23 against the Bulls 23 days before Jordan's birthday. And they got their 113th franchise win over the Bulls all time. I mean, and then the Jordan played for the Wizards and Utah, who Jordan beat 2 times in finals. They became 23-23 versus Wizards 23 days before his birthday in the same damn night. So we'll see what other Jordan rituals they got lined up. The one thing they've done different though this year, the NBA might have said we got to switch this up a little bit, because almost every year they've had either a game on the eve of Jordan's birthday or on Jordan's birthday. And this year, the last game they have, the Bulls, before Jordan's birthday is on Valentine's Day, the 45th day of the year, like Jordan wore 45 for a minute. I might have to look closer at the Wizards too. And you know what? They do things with UNC. Shout out to Kayla Decode Talker. The other year, we had a real nice ritual that we smashed like several games in a row with the Bulls for Jordan's birthday. But I didn't think to look at UNC, and Kayla did. And it was a huge payout game with just very clear Jordan numbers. It paid 8-1. So yeah, just pay attention to Jordan's former basketball teams as his birthday approaches. Might be a nice way to get some grocery money, because groceries are becoming a lot more expensive. So, all right, guys and gals and sweet ladies and good people. Till next time, True Seeker.